All right, here are December crime statistics, December to December 31st, 2022. I know it looks like a lot, but we're going to focus here on the last two rows or columns, rows. Starting first with homicide, we are down 14%. So as you can see in the oh, there we go. As you can see, in 2021 we had 50. Year to date 2022 we went down to 43, and that's the 14% decrease. Sexual assaults, rapes in 2021 was 74, and it went to 78. So that's a 5% increase. Robberies, 2021, it was 312, 2022, 283. So we're down 9%. Aggravated assaults, in 2021, they were 1399, and we went to 1394. Yeah. Burglaries in 2021 were 314, and we went down slightly, 2% to 309. Thefts, 1184 went to 1039, and that's a 12% decrease. Vehicle thefts, this is kind of big. 2021 we we're at 1270, and in 2022 only 941. So that's a 26% decrease. Arsons in 21 were at 58, and in 2022 we had 60. So that was a 3% increase. And then our non-fatal shootings, in 2021 we were at 215, and in 2022 we're at 206. So that's a 4% decrease. Carjackings went from in 21 51 to in 22 58. So that's a 14% increase, which is not the best. So yes. Car. Right. So the the vehicle theft is, your car is on the street 1 minute, and then the next minute it is not. They actually went in and stole your vehicle. Carjacking is like a robbery. They use force to get your vehicle. So yes, ma'am. Any other questions about this? No. And if you look at your pamphlets, it's much clearer than this is. But this is just a view of. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, we do that every year, especially in the winter time. It's like don't leave your keys in the car type, keys running, and we do have a traffic safety unit now, um, and that has helped uh, bring about presence in the communities. We are proactive in District Number 5 as well. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Been reading in the paper and hearing on the news about the mail thefts. Have we had any in our district?
I can't think off the top of my head. Only maybe one truck was stolen, and this was some months back. But are you speaking of the Wauwatosa one where the mailbox, where they went into the mailbox?
Actually stole the key from
No,
somebody, and
that
then
was the
they
first
put
of
it
that
in the
kind.
boxes.
That was the first of that kind. So I was reading that too yesterday, like, what? We can't, they're going into the mailboxes. But yeah, we haven't had any of that. Do you know of anything? Or?
There was Amazon, so there was a group of three young men that were going around targeting the Amazon trucks. I think they did three or four of them. They were apprehended, they were arrested, and they got charged. But you notice there was like carjackings of Amazon delivery vehicles. They were stealing the entire trucks that go somewhere and they'll offload the packages in the cars. It was the same group doing those, and they were caught. But as far as that mail thing with the key, those
That hasn't
they're
happened.
District 5.
No.
I do have one question for you. When it comes to domestic violence and partner violence that might occur, if it's not something such as strangulation or that would fall in ag assault, right? Or would it not?
It just depends on the crime.
So say strangulation.
Mhm. That would
Strangle
that
in
would
their household,
that
it could
would
be
fall
child,
under
it could be adult, partner. That would be ag assault.
correct.
Okay. That would be classified in that space. If I want to separate out, I have to go through OMAP.
Correct. Anything else? No. This is just the maps of the aggravated assaults from December 1st to the 31st, and it's much clearer on the papers we gave you. Shots fired, robberies, vehicle thefts as well, burglaries, and traffic stops. We had a total of 255 traffic stops in December. If you look on that map, barely see it. Any questions about that map, the maps, or no? I want to talk a little bit about illegal dumping. You can go to the City of Milwaukee website. It's milwaukee.gov/dumping to fill out a form to report illegal dumping. They're going to want specific information. It says if you do not provide sufficient details and evidence, such as photos, videos, license plate numbers, to begin an illegal dumping investigation, DNS cannot investigate the incident. I don't know if you knew that. Additionally, if you're not willing to agree to be a court witness, please report the incident through Click for Action as a garbage complaint. Want to add anything to this?
I don't think so. It says it right in the little yellow circle, but there is a $1,000 reward if we successfully prosecuted for it.
It is the winter time, so these are just reminders regarding carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide deaths rise dramatically in the winter. Just a reminder to never use a generator inside a residence if there is a power failure. Never use a gas oven to heat a home. And I get like this memory of me being little with the stove on because it was so cold. It just, my dad did, yeah. Never sleep inside a vehicle if there have been repairs to the exhaust system. And then we have the phone number for energy assistance. Cold weather reminders, plug space heaters directly into the wall. Never use an extension cord or power strip. Keep space heaters at least 3 feet away from nearby objects. Never leave a space heater unattended. Do not leave candles unattended. Place a blanket and a shovel inside your vehicle in case of emergencies, and never leave your vehicle running unattended with keys inside. I repeat, never leave your keys in the vehicle. Garage burglaries. The most common items taken are snow blowers, lawn equipment, bicycles, tools such as electric drills, air compressors, hand tools, etc. Some theft prevention tips. These items can easily be sold quickly. Most electrical tools and equipment have a serial number associated with it. Document this number and keep a record of all your valuable tools. On occasion, these items are recovered during various investigations, and without a serial number, there's no way to log or return it to you. Consider adding a camera if you own high value power tools and equipment. Add adequate lighting, such as motion lighting, to alert you and or your neighbors. Do not leave doors open to the public when you're not present or even when working outside. And then we all know about the Collins agreements. Does anybody have any questions about that? Do you all know what the Collins agreement is? As far as we as police, anytime we stop someone, be it on foot or in a vehicle, have to document that stop. And we have to have individual, articulable, objectionable, reasonable suspicion to do that stop. And we have to document that. That's it. Milwaukee. Yes, sir. Three years ago?
2018 is
Yeah,
the late, I think it was late 2018.
it is 20. Yep. Did you have a question? I'm sorry. I saw something else. Sure. No, we don't have to talk about that. Yes. They say well, people call all the time and they say, I've heard shots fired in the area. So they will send us to the area of Fratney and Locust for reports of shots being heard, being fired. So it doesn't, if you don't know, you don't know, but at least we're in the area looking. So yeah, you can still call. Shots being fired, you can call 911. Correct. Absolutely. In the area, yes, no, definitely.
New Year's, I was told that it was quieter this year with gunfire. Is that true?
I don't have the actual statistics on the shots fired. I was actually off that day. But I don't have the numbers for how many total activations we had with ShotSpotter, but that only goes to a certain point in District 5. So I mean, I looked at the summary for the next day and I thought it was going to be worse than what it was. So I was surprisingly, I mean, there were some incidents, but from the weather, I thought it was going to be, I was telling this man, worse. So,
It was in the block, 2 blocks next to me. It always woke me up this year. Didn't.
sir, did you have something? Yes, I will. I will have it.
I live on 16th, close to Congress, right to the school. There were, right, real quickly, within a few minutes of each other, shots fired, different. There was also some semi-automatic.
Mhm.
They probably were like around 13 to 14, 15.
On New Year's Eve at midnight, or?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hoping they shot him in the head.
Right. Yeah, we'll have that.
One thing I just wanted to add about your shots fired question. So we're not supposed to say like all exactly what parts are covered by ShotSpotter, but large parts of District 5 are under a ShotSpotter coverage area. So a lot of times those we'll get a call a ShotSpotter and a ShotSpotter. Sometimes you can tell that they're related and we'll go to those, but in areas where there is no ShotSpotter, the only way that we can respond to those calls is if somebody calls in shots fired. So it is really important that you call. And then there are times that ShotSpotter, well, it's like 99% reliable. There are times, and I've personally experienced it, where they'll put a ShotSpotter at a certain address. We'll go there, and there's nothing there, and then we'll find the casings and the people saying, yeah, they're shooting 2 blocks away. So it's not guaranteed that just because if you live in a ShotSpotter area, you still want people to call in those shots fired. Also, because of the Collins agreement, there's it's more restrictive on officers are just more cautious on like making stops. Like say like if you call in shots fired, you say there's a black car and it's going northbound, and you see a vehicle that matches that description, you can use that information. That's a reasonable suspicion that that would be a person involved. ShotSpotter won't give us that information. There's nothing to go off. That's another reason why it's important that people call for ShotSpotter. It's very helpful for actually finding the people.
I'm sorry. She had one. Did you?
Well, if this is regarding shots fired, go ahead.
I'm wondering, when you call in, say for instance, you call in a shot fire, is your information required?
No, you can say anonymous. You don't want. Is that what you mean? As far as your name, you can definitely say I want to be anonymous. Mhm.
They still know where you call from.
Well, if you call what *67 or 689, you can block your number.
I mean, but if you do call and you don't block it,
Yeah, your number is gonna show up. Yeah.
So, if where would you call if we're like people who like catch here?
As far as
So, for instance, so Alan was out of the home during the day, and apparently, I mean, we're to the neighborhood, but apparently it's kind of common knowledge that we're doing some kind of runs through the alley over there. And so if I notice the same vehicle often running, and I'm trying to like take note of it, like I can call him and say, hey, this seems kind of suspicious. Truck keeps coming around, and the guy gets out, runs to another car, and then or they're meeting in the alley. Like, where would I call about that?
so I'm sorry.
You can call me, or anyone in the CPU, or on the contact guide, there's a D5 drug complaint email that you can submit.
If that's what you think it is, you're saying you think it's drug related.
It looks that
Yeah.
way. I mean,
Yeah, so
yeah, it looks that way.
so repeat. If there's like ongoing drug dealing, suspected drug dealing, those we can investigate, but just provide as much detail as you can. And again, you can be anonymous with those. But we want to know like what kind of vehicle, how many people are in it, what the person driving it looks like. The drug dealing, like kind of like the random drug dealing at the gas station or on like some corner that only happens once. Those are kind of hard to follow up on. But if it's a repeated thing where they're continuously doing it, just get as much detail as you can possibly think of. What time of the day it is, all that kind of stuff. You can call me and I can fill out a drug complaint form, or you can just email that D5 drug complaints directly with that information, and they will follow up on it.
Now, would you say it's dangerous or not dangerous of me, like in the summer, to be like, I will go outside, and I mean, I'm not like saying, like pointing on my phone, but I'm also going out to be like, or looking out the window of it, like I can call him and say, hey, this seems kind of suspicious. Truck keeps coming around, and the guy gets out, runs to another car, and then or they're meeting in the alley. Like, where would I call about that?
So I'm sorry.
You can call me, or anyone in the CPU, or on the contact guide, there's a D5 drug complaint email that you can submit.
If that's what you think it is, you're saying you think it's drug related.
It looks that
Yeah.
way. I mean,
Yeah, so
yeah, it looks that way.
so repeat. If there's like ongoing drug dealing, suspected drug dealing, those we can investigate, but just provide as much detail as you can. And again, you can be anonymous with those, but we want to know like what kind of vehicle, how many people are in it, what the person driving it looks like. The drug dealing, like kind of like the random drug dealing at the gas station or on like some corner that only happens once. Those are kind of hard to follow up on. But if it's a repeated thing where they're continuously doing it, just get as much detail as you can possibly think of. What time of the day it is, all that kind of stuff. You can call me and I can fill out a drug complaint form, or you can just email that D5 drug complaints directly with that information, and they will follow up on it.
Now, would you say it's dangerous or not dangerous of me, like in the summer, to be like, I will go outside and, I mean, I'm not like saying, like pointing on my phone, but I'm also going out to be like, or looking out the window like, hey, don't be stupid, like, I got my windows open, I'm like looking, or is that not a smart, dangerous kind of thing for me to do?
I mean, having your windows open is one thing. It's your home, so they can't be mad about that. You know, but to go out and confront these people,
I'm out on my porch. I've seen a car out there for long enough, and it looks like, well, what are you guys doing out here? And I just don't know, though. Like my father is like, oh, I don't know if that's.
I know that's one thing. I wouldn't confront them.
No, I
No.
don't. But I would
Yeah.
go out on the porch or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, oh, I'm checking my mail, or oh, I'm sweeping my
Yeah.
porch.
I wouldn't discourage that. You know, see the three things that create crime is motivated offender, a suitable target, and lack of a capable guardian, which means that they don't think they're being watched. So just you being out there, even if you're not putting your phone up, or just you being out there. That's why dummy cameras exist.
Right.
You know, just you being present out there. You know, as long as they're not, you know, saying anything to you or trying to engage you,
Right, right.
then I wouldn't see any problem with it, and that might actually make them, you know, pick a different spot. So.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
That's
see
the
any.
way I look at it,
I don't
yeah.
see any issue with it.
Yeah. Opportunity. I mean, on my block, I feel like we all work. So during the day, there's no cars on the street. And then so you get the random tenant window car and another random tenant. So it's just an easy block to do whatever it is you're going to do because we're all at work. So, you know, when I am off, what I do is walk my dogs. I'm out, you know, landscaping. But so, well, they'll just find another block to go to, but it's not my block. So, anything else?
We don't have a Judge Stark in the audience, do we? That she slipped in that I don't know about.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, it
supposed
looks
to
like
be
our guest
here.
speaker is a no-show.
Maybe she forgot, or maybe a judge emergency.
Yeah, could be.
Yes. I don't know if we had that up or down from last month. I don't think traffic stop is on here. No, we don't have that.
Actually, I think from memory there was 313.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Then we're down. Yeah. In December, we have a lot of proactive cars out there. For instance, we have a holiday presence DPM that are in like the business areas in our district, such as East Capitol, you know, where Walmart is, patrolling that because there's a lot of robberies during the holiday season. So that could attribute to the lower numbers of the traffic stops. We just, you know, are trying to spread the presence throughout the holiday season. So
How are we doing on the reckless driving? I know there's different groups in Channel 4 is doing something and some others are, is that helping anything? Today on King Drive, somebody whipped around us and ran a red light and
we're still actively out there pursuing reckless driving, and with that, providing presence as well, trying to combat this. But
it's harder to track as well. Like so, if we can track the number of shootings pretty easily, but the number of
reckless
stolen
drivers.
vehicles, we can track that pretty easily. Reckless driving, it's kind of whether you say up or down, it's kind of a subjective thing unless you had somebody, you know, somebody monitoring traffic. It's just harder to track trends of reckless driving.
cameras on certain intersections.
You mean red light cameras or cameras? at the
I think he's
intersection?
mean red light cameras like they have in Chicago. Yeah.
From what I've heard, when Chicago first did it was back in like 2015. They did have fewer people running red lights, but what they had more of was more car accidents. People would slam on their brakes because they don't want to get the ticket, so there'd be more rear-end accidents. And then also, it doesn't take into account who's actually driving. If the vehicle lists for the car or not, a lot of license plates in Milwaukee don't list to the vehicle, and a lot of vehicles don't have any license plates at all.
Mm-hmm. So it's not-
I talked to Senator Lena Taylor a couple weeks ago, and she seemed like she didn't. I don't know how much impact she would have on that being implemented, but she's a legislature.
Yeah, I'd say it is a state issue. State has to change law for that to happen in Milwaukee. And even if she does support, even if others support, you're talking about the entire state. And so you got people in smaller counties and districts that aren't pushing it because then that would impact their districts in a way that they don't want. And so that's why we're having an issue in Milwaukee where we can't just, so county council can't vote on changing that in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
I didn't know that.
Is that true that cars are being confiscated when they're driving and the driver can't prove that that's their car or the plates don't match the vehicle and the cars are being counted?
It's a culmination of not being registered, it's a combination of the vehicle not being registered, the reckless driving, and there's one more criteria, I think.
I thought it was just reckless and not registered.
Not maybe those are the two.
Has
Mhm.
to be a certain speed. Has to be going at a certain speed.
Oh, 20. No, it might be 25 over, I think it is.
So then with that being said, I think that like maybe they would be stopping more like these cars that clearly are or don't have the plates on it, as opposed to, I guess it's just sometimes you just get a little frustrated when you see these cars with no plates at all, and they're driving like crazy, and then, you know, your lights or, you know, something, you're going a little too fast. I know it's still a crime, but, you know, you're getting a ticket for, you know, you got your plates on, you got everything, or your stickers just, over your registration. For instance, I borrowed my son's vehicle about a year ago, had to go down to the courthouse. Did not realize his registration had expired. I go back out there, I thought the car was stolen. They had a little tracker, apparently what I'm told is it got impounded because there's something on the registration that pings it, kind of like a GPS. Oh, this is an expired plate tag, and they impounded, or not impounded it, but they brought it to the city lot. We had to go all the way out there, and it's all this money we pay because of registered righteous vehicle that we own. We got that, and then day after day, you see all these cars with no plates on it, and they literally did tell us there, we would have been better off not having plates on the car.
Well, I don't know the particular details of your thing, but what I'm guessing happened, it was probably a parking enforcement because they have what's called Alpers. I forget what the automated license plate
Readers, yeah.
They're on the.
I was parked at a parking meter out front of the courthouse downtown, and when I went out, my car was gone.
So what probably happened is the little Jeep was driving by with its Alpers on. If there's no plate, it's not gonna. That parking checker could write a ticket for not having a license plate, but they're doing this thing where they're just driving along, and it's reading plates. Having that expired plate probably turned it on. I can tell you, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. District 5 officers and probably any MPD is not going to go around just having unregistered vehicles towed. So I'm assuming that was a parking checker that did it. We don't have
Well,
the-
it's front of the
we don't have
courthouse. It
time
was a
for that.
parking checker for sure.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating, but we don't say stop a certain vehicle, reckless driving or not. Otherwise, like we don't pick on people for having license plates, saying like, well, they'll actually stop or whatever. I mean, if they're driving reckless, they're driving reckless. And just try to stop them.
And just for clarity, UPD does not do parking meter checking. Is that correct?
Parking meter? No.
Right. That is DPW.
We do have, we don't even, it's not even electronic. We have like a ticket book, and we very, very rarely use it because we, like I said, we have other assignments that we usually.
Well, back in 2006 when I started, it was a part of doing my. But now we just don't have it. We don't have the time for it.
Because that is the thing that's like frustrating. It's like you're gonna like tow somebody's vehicle that's parked on the street for their plates being expired when there are bigger fish to fry and no kind of like
For the parking checker, that is their fish.
Yeah.
So, but we will issue parking citations for things like if a vehicle's obstructing traffic and we need to tow it, the city won't tow it unless we write that obstructing traffic ticket. So on rare occasions we will write parking citations, but it's very, very rare.
Who writes the tickets for the cars that don't have license plates? Nobody.
Well, the parking checkers do. We can, but that's not generally an assignment that we're very focused on. We have like the calls for service that take up the vast majority of our.
Yeah, the parking checkers take care of the ones with no place. They just have to get out and get the VIN number off the. Sir?
With Wisconsin being number 4 in the worst state for reckless driving, I consider it to be a priority. I know that we might have a task force or something out here. I guess my suggestion, or if we were being thought of, is like a undercover kind of driving safety. Perhaps like, so when you're driving, you don't know if the car on your right is the police or on your left. On that red light, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna think twice before running the light now.
Yeah.
You know, it could be in some Peter or something. I know we got plenty of cars that the city owns that they could be putting people in, you know, pulling folks over for doing this kind of stuff. But are we sure that this task force is working as effectively as it could be? Or could we add, you know, certain things to the repertoire to make these things decrease a lot more?
I mean, the task force is specifically assigned to do that. You know, like officers at District 5, we do, you know, we respond to calls for service. We try to be proactive as well. We're doing, but they're specifically assigned to it. So I believe that they are doing. Were you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the task force is assigned to just handle traffic, anything related to traffic. Officers at District Number 5 deal with calls for service. You know, we're proactive as well. So I believe the task force is doing all they can to curb that. Our department's way of trying to combat that is to create this unit. And in 2023, I don't know what else we're going to bring to the table. That is a good idea. You know, something has to be. I mean, I come down Capitol every day I go to work, so I know what it is. So I feel like everybody's going faster than what 10, 15 years ago? Everybody's going faster. Everyone. We just can't blame it on these juveniles. Everybody's driving faster. All over. And why do you think that is? That everybody's going faster. I question that on my way to work. My mini heart attacks. Yeah. I'm sorry?
I really like the creativity of the idea, like to think outside the box, do something different, change. Unfortunately, I think it's against SOP. We can't have unmarked squads can't do traffic, so you'd have to have like a
A
you have to be in
squad
tandem or
somewhere.
something, yeah.
Yeah, a marked squad.
If they have one sneaking up.
How many officers are you still down?
I don't know our number. I don't know.
Yep. That's about what I heard. There's 200 from full staff.
And we do have a class in the academy now of 55. 55. I don't know how many classes there will be in 2023. I don't think they've announced that yet. It all has to do with the budget, sir. Yeah.
We could do that here. So some days I can see them lined up on Capitol Drive, depending on the area. That's the reason why I brought up the shortage. I don't think they have enough officers, and I don't know how many we have on the doorbell. You'll be surprised how much is really going on in the city compared to what you see in the news. So when you have a shortage of police like that, priorities are going to be shot. Really going to come up with break-ins, you might be waiting hours for that. Some of that other stuff that's going on. You just say, hey, somebody broke my window. You might be waiting for somebody being shot.
Yeah, the calls for service have gotten so long that they implemented, it was like 2 months ago. You can actually, if there's no known suspect, there's no camera footage, it's like a property damage or theft or something like that, they're encouraging people to go on the city website. There's a website where you can
Put the
file your own
complaint.
police
Yep.
report. Just because people are waiting, I had a burglary, it was a few months ago, somebody's house was burglarized, they called me like 1:30 and it wasn't until like 10 o'clock at night that it's going to go out there, and that's just not acceptable. Trying to do what we can.
And a lot has to do with that Collins agreement. Earlier. And this is my take on it, and I'm not scared to offend people, but sometimes when people do things that they're not supposed to do, via some police officers, now it makes it bad on the other police officers. That's basically what the Collins agreement is basically like not the first type of thing like that. So when you're doing that kind of stuff and then you messing up people's rights, so now they have to stick to this thing where I just can't stop you because you're suspicious now. So I could be standing, like she said, unless you have, what were they selling? Do you notice people? You just can't say, well, I saw that guy doing it. Like when did you actually see him passing somebody or something? You know, back in our day, I was telling them last time I was here, when I was coming up, they had jump out boys. She didn't even know what that was. It was a jump out boy. They can't do that stuff anymore. I mean, because they could get sued. And some of it I do blame it on bad officers that make other officers' jobs tougher. You could be doing nothing, or you could be doing something. But jump out boys. But see, at the same time, it kept you on your toes too. See, now they ain't got to be worried about that kind of stuff. So now they are bolder with what they're doing.
Yeah, if you're selling drugs on a corner and you see the police and you just stand there, what?
Right.
What are you supposed? It's not against the law to stand there.
Right.
I'm curious. So it's obvious that we as residents, stakeholders, whatever, have to help with this process. That it can't just be on the entity for many reasons. It never should be. But I'm curious, how many people have some kind of camera system on their
that entire block.
Mm.
Now, my block went over, I saw like 5 rings, including my house, but like, these are simple things, you know, like, I know people are, oh, they don't wanna give Big Brother the footage, whatever. We already know we have some time to look at it, because they can barely keep up with what they're doing now, but I feel like there's little things that we, you know, this footage is concrete evidence, not what you're talking about, where people describe people poorly, and then cops are running around looking for vague descriptors. We all know what that does. So I feel like we, as residents, also have to help.
It ain't really deterring anything. I mean, it's a good gimmick and it sounds good. If
No,
you got
but at
brain,
least
it ain't
there's-
deterring anything. They don't care.
No.
It's a deterrent, just like a club is on a car. It's a deterrent. Yeah. Mhm.
But can you at least, if there's something that happens in front of your house and you have the camera,
I'm gonna tell you like this, until we can start forming where we can go out and number, and they know we ain't playing, that's when it's gonna stop. Otherwise, then that the police can't do it by themselves. They got a strict set of rules they gotta follow. Unless we are willing to get out there and maybe sacrifice, get out there and do something, they know they're not gonna stop. And they're starting to come younger and younger and older and older.
This lady, I'm sorry.
The thing with the rig mobile, if we can narrow down, and then I'll speak with the money. We can narrow down where there's high activity, foolishness going on. Maybe we can, I'm saying we, so that we can come up with something. Find a way to have ring doorbells put on those houses. So that there, again, there's a slight deterrent. That says Amani has an organized community group. Residents who reside in the Amani neighborhood need to start attending those safety meetings so that, again, we can, that's a unified group so that we can get together and come up with a plan. Right now, most of the people who attend those meetings are women. I know
Right.
it ain't only women that live in the United Nations.
Right.
We need our men to come out as well and be out there with us.
So that's something currently the Amani Association is working to.
Be out in the front, and not just us women.
Mhm.
Not saying that I'm scared, but I ain't no fool.
Right. That's something currently you guys are working toward getting ring cameras for. In my mind, I'm loud and everybody can hear me. That's something the Amani Association is working to get ring cameras in the neighborhoods. Okay. Okay. That's great. Sir?
Reason why I bring up like warning, those smaller things turn into large things. I was finding the homicide and all that other stuff. Somebody don't care about running the red light. No, they ain't gonna get caught running the red light. No, they ain't gonna get caught with no plates. What's gonna stop them from doing robbery? We know they can just all through the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
We gotta understand like steps to it. Not just we just gonna go kill. We're gonna go run a red light, run a stop sign, in order to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in those rooms. I've traveled to Madison. I've been talking to legislators in regards to red light cameras and all that other stuff. So I know what I'm saying. It's just not necessarily like that's the end all, but they talking 5 years. How does that affect everybody? You know, they don't want to do the study for 2 years. They want to do it for 5. A lot can happen in 5 years. Start lifestyle. So I don't necessarily agree with 5 years, but I do know that we have to do something. Maybe we can change the law where we can have cars out here, without anything on it. I'm not sure if we can do that. Can we do that? Is that possible? Who do we go to
Well,
to get that control?
Well, I mean, UC cars do exist, but purposing them for that reason, that would take way above what I'd be able to
Right.
even suggest. But I mean, they do exist. It's just getting a plan like that implemented would be tough. I mean, anytime you change like a big decision like that. Like I said,
You couldn't even run a red light, stop sign. You couldn't even go stop. That's when I was driving when I was younger. Now it's just whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you gotta stop the buck somewhere. Like I said, those small crimes turn into huge crimes down the line.
I wish we had statistics on the amount of calls for service we took in 2022, because we respond to a lot of calls for service. I mean, I can only speak for when I started. I mean, from when I started till now, the calls for service are through the roof, you know, and unfortunately, you know, if somebody did break into your car and steal whatever's in your glove box, that's being put on hold because shots fired are constantly coming in. So those are priorities. So I only say that to say, you know, I wish we had, you know, even the district cops more time to be proactive in our neighborhoods, you know, instead of just being there for a call for service. You know, so I totally understand your frustration, sir.
I think that's why we heard that. We're looking at some of our judges and things like that because, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I was told from a friend that when their vehicle was stolen, if it's minors, and I don't know if it's just minors, if they take your car and they go joyride, well, that's literally what it is, and it's not as high up on the crime wave, but they only take your car for a short amount of time and then they abandon your car. That's only considered quote joyriding or taking without, it's not under the umbrella of a theft. It's just joyriding or operating without the owner's consent. So then these minors are going before these judges. Guess what? Oh, naughty, or oh, you know, go to juvie or something like that. They're not getting the real ramifications for what they're doing, which is reckless driving, hurting people, stealing things, and they can kill each other. You know, they can kill somebody. And laws are not in place to properly acknowledge what it is that these people are doing. They're stealing vehicles and just running around, and that's the other thing. Like, what about these people that are taking videos not to document to get to the police, but to post stuff on social media? Like, that's just ridiculous. Why are you taking? You should be, I mean, charged. Well, because I feel like they are, I don't want to say encouraging it, but they're not doing anything to deter. You see this crime happening, this kid's driving around and joyriding, and it's all fun and games, and they're posting it on, you know, the YouTube or whatever, Facebook. That's, what are you thinking? Like posting videos of these kids driving like that. People are dying. That's not, it's not funny. Like, you know, that's not cute.
I always look at those like, now somebody know who baby that is. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know who did this. You know who these people are clearly.
and
than just the crime of or the acts. There's a lot of psychological, emotional toll, right, that is happening in our society, and people are reacting to that and through that. And one thing I'll just say on all of that, we are in a very much of a see me society, right? So even when I'm doing wrong or my friends are doing wrong, if I'm being seen, that's important to me. And even in our society where we have young people who are, not just young people, people in general, because there are adults who are doing the exact same thing, that
Right.
oftentimes our children are copying what they see from adults first and foremost. I will emphasize that.
Infamous and famous.
And there is no difference sometimes in our society right now. Right? There is none. And so we have to be really mindful of that and aware of that. And also, when we're talking about support for our police, we also have to look at what can we do outside of them. So mental health services, counseling, therapy, all of these other spaces that we don't really talk about in these meetings are part of what we need to incorporate for us to be able to say that some things are going to be different. Even when some of our generation was growing up, it was about being seen and being recognized, but you didn't have the instant fame that can come from that in 0.5 seconds of posting it up on the internet.
Right.
I can't remember who told me this. Maybe it was at one of our meetings. I think at meeting last month. But if you think if you're a 13-year-old, you have a bad home situation. Your parents don't pay you any attention. You're struggling. You could go from being that kid to getting all this clout by posting a video on Instagram, and you're this mini celebrity in your friend group. I mean that's a motivator. I mean that's not too hard to understand. I don't say something.
I'm gonna say something that's really not popular, especially from Danny. And they're gonna be right. So I'm gonna say something that's not popular. Okay, very unpopular. However, I'm not very liberal. Okay, I grew up poor. However, I didn't gravitate towards crime, stealing, driving, killing, and the other stuff. So I understand when folks be talking about poverty. Poverty does lead to certain things. However, poverty doesn't replace morals. Poverty doesn't replace upbringing. All right. So, like I said, I grew up in poverty, but my parents instilled morals and values. So I don't excuse these kids out here. I say lock their asses up. All right. I'm not speaking on behalf of my job. I'm speaking on behalf of me. I say lock them up. We need to elect tougher judges. We need to enforce tougher laws. And we need to get out the police ass when the police do something to them. That's just me speaking as a black man. So I'm not for tough. That's fine.
I just wanted to add, I think it would be good for all of us to contact our state legislators. Give up some of that revenue the state is sitting on is not giving the city. And I think that'd be so important for every resident of the city.
Yes.
I wrote a letter to the editor saying that is stolen money, it's not surplus. It should have been back to our cities and our counties all this time. They didn't credit it.
Okay, everyone has to report at the next meeting. Roll call.
When they knew that they weren't and they couldn't. That was a main platform of the politics. Trying to get into office, what is being done?
Hmm.
Never. So it's like to me that says a lot
they only coming to our board now. We don't see them or hear from them until election time. That says a lot about the city. And then you got people coming to you. And then return your phone calls. If I don't call you guys to let you guys know about a house or anything else, I can't call them. I can't call them. They don't, at least you guys return phone calls. That's, to me, that's sad. These are the ones that you're supposed to be putting in office.
Well, I thank you all for for your comments and coming here today. I do apologize for Judge not being here today, but we'll make it up next month with our speakers. Right. So it's going to be a short one today. Thank you again for coming. And lastly, anything else anybody wants to say? No, everybody ready to go. Thank you.